A very good afternoon from Sydney Harbour for the first heat of the 2022 JJ Giltinan 18-foot skiff championships. Welcome everyone, wherever you're watching around the world. I'm Peter Shipway, and along with Andrew Buckland and Jimmy Bury, we'll be bringing the whole series to you. This, as I mentioned last week, is the jewel in the crown for 18-foot skiff sailing. The sprint series are over, the club championship's over, the state championship's over, the Australian championship's over, and it now gets down to 9 days of racing over the next 8 days to see who is this year's JJ Giltinan champion, the prize that's most coveted in 18-foot skiff racing. So we say hello from the harbour, and Andrew Buckland, to you, a multiple winner of these JJs, give us a brief overview of the weather for today's first heat.
Oh, Pete, thanks very much. I'm a bit worried about 9 days of racing in 8 days, but we'll get to that later, won't we? The weather situation, just a low pressure cell on the New South Wales coast about 100 miles north, so just a very steady gradient northeast flow onto the coast and onto Sydney Harbour. Gradient wind outside there is probably about 040, a little bit of funneling evident in the harbour, so it's a bit left of that. We're not expecting a build. We might see 12 knots and plenty of water flowing out, so wind against tide has some effect also.
Thank you, Andrew, and bring Jimmy Bury in. Jimmy, the course, probably the most famous course in 18-foot skiff racing. 3 times to the Beashel boy. Let's talk us through it, please.
G'day, Shippo. Yeah, so today we're on the Northeast course, one of our favourite courses. And we start down near Clark Island, near that blue mark there on the screen, work our way up to the Beashel buoy, the red mark there, then set spinnakers and come down around Shark Island, the little yellow mark there, down to the blue mark, back at Clark Island, pack the spinnakers away, work back up to the Beashel buoy, up to that red one, back down here to Clark Island, work back up to the Beashel buoy, round Shark Island, and finish just here off Clark Island. You've done this a few times, Bucko, this course?
Jimmy, yeah, I was having a discussion one day with my old mate, the Admiral, and we figured we'd both been up this beat about 1,000 times.
So you know where we've got to go today?
No, we're slow learners, mate. We're not too sure.
A lot of people have said that. Anyway, we're about, 12 minutes away from the start. We saw the invitation race yesterday in a southeasterly breeze, and won by Andu, probably one of the only boats to have his number 2 rig on, but there were not a full fleet out, but there'll be 24 boats racing today. But yesterday Andu won. A couple of boats were OCS at the Black Flag and didn't participate in the results, but that didn't count for anything. It all counts today. First of 9 races, and the weather looks very interesting midweek, but we'll get to that a bit later on. And today is the race for the George Calligeros Trophy, the Memorial Trophy. The late George Calligeros was the owner of the Rag and Famish Hotel, and he's been a sponsor in the 18-footers since 1996. The boat with the Rag and Famish name won the title with John Harris as the skipper for JJ Giltinan. So, long time ago, but the Calligeros family, a very important part of the history of the 18-footers, and very valuable sponsor. But we just see the fleet now just milling around the start. There's not that much wind. There's probably 10 to 11 knots here at the starting line. So, Andrew, over the week we've gathered a few questions. We might get to those quickly now and for you. First question is from Gunnar Cruz, who asked, how many square feet are the difference in sails and rig? I assume he means between the number 1 and the number 2 rig.
Yeah, good question. And there is a bit of variety in the fleet. So, all of the big rigs aren't identical by any stretch, but the typical area for the number 1 jib and the number 1 mainsail on the big mast, 42 square metres, so in square feet, about 440 square feet. And the little rig, about 30 square metres, so about 330 square feet.
And the difference in mast height, we mentioned that yesterday, but just tell us again.
Just a bit less than a metre.
Okay.
A bit under a metre. And the big chute, the big spinnakers, about 64 square metres or 700 square feet.
Okay, well, that was a question from Ken Austin. He asked, how many shoots do they have? Just two? Question mark.
Only two, yeah.
Yep.
Only two, yeah.
Some look smaller and flatter than others.
Yeah, there's plenty of different mould shapes, and what we're seeing is, in fact, that the flatter shape is probably the best all-purpose, and there's always a compromise, of course, between being able to reach fast and being able to get, maximum VMG run depth, but and it's quite subtle, what the changes are in the mould, but I think the shape as used by Tech 2 and prominently, who else, Pete? The purple one.
Ragam
Famish, indeed. Is probably the best mould out there, I think, although there are some adherents. Nick Daly's got a pretty nice mould that he developed with Michael Carter as well. So it's not a zero-sum game, and there's varying opinions, but to us, or to me at least, it looks as if the slightly flatter mould with more twist is the winner.
All right, well, we might talk about that as the week goes on, and we're looking closely at the spinnakers as they go downwind. And another question was from Chris O, and I guess it's directed to you, Andrew Buckland. Do you remember his mate Peter Leggrove, who came from England and raced 18-footers?
Of course we remember Pete. He just stopped sailing historic skiffs at the SFS as of last season. A very fine man and an extraordinary capable fellow and instrumental in punching the 18s forward in the UK. Terrific.
Now residing in Australia?
Yeah, he's sort of retired from sailing. He's not a young fellow, as you'd appreciate, but he spent a long time steering a historic 18 over at Carini Cove.
Okay, well, jolly good. Any more questions you have today or throughout this series over the next 8 days, please don't hesitate to let us know or leave a comment and hit the subscribe button if you like our live stream, or if you're enjoying it, or even if you're not enjoying it. Let us know what we can do to make it more enjoyable. But we can't get rid of Andrew, so he'll be here, so that's the first thing I've got to say. So, anyway, we love you, Andrew, don't worry. Okay, we're just getting ready. Nerves will be jangling a little bit as we get ready for the first heat. So, go to you, Andrew, first. Who do you like for the series? Big question, I know.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a minefield, an atom bomb, in fact. Well, Peter, I think it's been demonstrated fairly clearly that the final contest, subject to accidents and incidents, should probably be between Andu and Tech 2, and impossible from where we sit to figure out who's going to win. But good luck to them both. And I know that the next question you're going to ask, Peter, is who's next, and I suppose, third line of favouritism would have to be Smeg and Noakes, I think. And then there's about 6 more boats, or there's 7 more boats to occupy the next 6 places. So how that pans out, we don't know. But all we know is that 9 races will be a pretty good test, and anybody that can get eight counters, as the boys call them, which means results in the top 4 in a general sense in this fleet, has done a good job and deserves the trophy.
Okay, well, before we get Jimmy's picks, we did mention last week about the point score, but we can confirm that the point score will be thus, as we hear 5-minute hooter goes. The point score will be 9 races, the best 8 to count. 9 races, the best 8 to count. So, Jimmy, over to you for your picks for Sunday week. Who are we putting the ribbon on?
Oh, Pete, it is quite hard, to go past Andu or Tech 2. Both of them have sort of peaked at the right time. I'd love to say Noakes, with all the effort that Sean Langman and the boys have all put in on that new boat of his. It looks quite nice, quite smart. I just don't know whether they've had enough time. And with Tuesday, Wednesday, with the forecast there of 30 plus knots, I just don't know how that's going to work out for Sean's knees. But yeah, I think we'd be joking if we sort of said anyone else other than Tech 2 and Andu, I think, are the 2 standouts at the moment.
Okay, well, just 4 minutes to go at the first heat to get underway. Not much breeze here at the starting line, lucky to be 8 or 9 knots. All skiffs on their big rigs. And what do we look like at the starting line, Andrew? You've had a good look at it.
Yeah,
what are your thoughts?
The pin's well favoured, and the bias in terms of getting out into the ebb flow is considerable as well. So I will see a big stack up towards the leeward end here, I would expect.
Okay, just a couple of confirmations on crew changes. On the Black Swan from Western Australia, Grant Rollison is out. He will not be participating in the regatta. He's injured his knee, and Luke Parkinson will be the skipper with a crew of Cam McDonald and Luke Payne. And on Fisher Paykel, Jacob Broom comes in for Nathan Edwards today, and Tom Quigley stands in for Tyler Greavy on appliances online. But otherwise, all the other crews are settled. And we're coming up to 3 minutes for the start of the first heat of the JJ Giltinans for 2022. And Andrew, this wind's got down a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, it's we had a little bit of left-handed puff and it's just faded and gone back to the right a little. But Pete, just thinking about this is a drag race course, so we'll find out who is actually fast in this mid-range stuff, and probably a good pointer. If you can win the race today, you might be a good chance to win the event overall, looking at the possible and probable weather. Because there's almost only one way to go up this track, at least for the first half of the B.
So all boats on their big sails. There are 24 boats out here. We've got boats from Denmark, Germany, Queensland and Western Australia. Unfortunately, due to COVID, our friends for the second year in a row from New Zealand are not over here. So if you're watching from New Zealand, we say hello to you, and let's hope 12 months' time you'll all be here. And we certainly remember recently the performance Honda put up in winning 3 titles in a row. But it's down to this year, and 1:50 to go. And we saw a bit of banging and crashing yesterday in the invitation race on a limited fleet. They had 2 general recalls before they got underway under a black flag. So here we are, not much wind. A lot of boats on the harbour. Yachts have been racing on a Sail Sydney Day or Sydney Regatta, but they're relatively clear looking upwind to the Beashall Buoy. 1:20 to go. What are you seeing here, Andrew?
Well, the fleet, contrary to my recommendations perhaps, is stacked up pretty much mid-line, and the 2 favourites, Deck 2 and Andu, fairly close together near the committee boat end. Big fight here though. Do you have a high slow mode? And for the viewers, this is full pressure breeze for these skiffs with a big rig. You know, 9 knots, fully stretched on trapeze, 1 minute.
That's the 1 minute
And
hooter for the 2022 series to get underway with the first heat. Balmain Slake right down the leeward end. A fair gaggle up here, as Andrew said, at the weather end. 40 seconds. Stand by. Who's going to blink first? 30 seconds.
Just off screen on the other side of the camera shot that you were just saying, you got Noakes are all the way over there.
Okay.
Looked like a little problem on board.
Okay, he's going to be late. 15 seconds.
Oh, a bit of banging and crashing with Shore and Partners, Royal Oak and Noakes Youth
Okay.
up the boat end.
Okay, there. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Away. Let's have a look what we've got.
couldn't see because our view was vision obscured by a boat.
No, all clear.
All clear on the monitor.
Here comes Noakes in very late. You'll see him just scream round the stern of the committee boat. And they're away. Andu punched out quite nicely, as did Rag and Famish. And right down the leeward end, Fisher Paykel. Jordan Gertis did nicely down there. And it's also Balmain Slake. That's him the closest to the camera.
Everybody in high slow mode.
Yeah,
amazing.
Royal Oak missed it badly. He got squeezed out. He had to come back.
We had that. You got tangled up with Shore and Partners
Yeah,
there.
there's a big tangle. Oh. There's just putting the Denmark boys about. The Royal Oak is. Denmark very wobbly there. They're almost into windward. Are they in? They are into windward. Their day's over really before it started. But anyway.
Well, Pete, we'll give them a prize. First capsize of the regatta.
Yes, light breezes. So they're away in the first heat in a nor'easterly breeze. The race is on to Bradley's Head, a strong outgoing tide with a lot of current because of all the rain we've had over the recent 10 days in Sydney. So it's light weather mode we're in.
So a very tough 3 minutes of sailing here for the fleet. About 0.6, 0.7 of a mile to where the wind, well, the headland impedes. The wind runs out of the headland impedes. Everybody high and slow. Andu making a pretty good fist of it. Tech 2 in the second row and having to tack out early.
They tack, a Smeg tacks as well. Both of them are well back at this stage. Leading the group to this side, left side, is Balmain Slate. He's got to try and get a lane to come back with. As Andrew said, you go too far under Bradley's in this breeze, you'll get absolutely clobbered.
So Balmain Slate mortgaged the pin and got off very smartly.
A few boats starting to bail out onto port.
Let's have a look at the cross here, Pete.
Birkenhead Point Marina there on starboard, looks strong.
And the rag, a good
They
clean
tacked under
cross.
Fisher Paykel there. So Balmain Slake are across everyone, I think. Balmain Slake, Henry Larkin.
Yep. Beautiful work from the young fellas.
He looks to be in front. His early stages, Fisher Paykel, Jordan Gertis, strong second at the moment.
And the Black Swan's making a pretty good fist of it also.
Yes, indeed. Now here's Andu. He's a little behind that leading pack. He's probably going the right way as far as tide's concerned.
Well, it'll be interesting to see here. There's a lane up inside. Look, just watch as a large white ferry, Captain Cook cruise
Well, he's going
boat.
to go all the way here, I think,
Yeah.
to the point.
And that will
Sevi
be a
Jarvin.
gain.
This will be a big gain, you would think.
Yeah.
Sevi Jarvin, Sam Newton, Matt Stedder. Seven-time winner, Sevi. He knows how to win this regatta.
And just in the background, you can see the Manly ferry inbound as well. It will have some effect.
It's going. Not far off attack. There they go. It's going to be nice pressure too.
Always wind at the light at the corner, Pete.
Yes, indeed.
Beautiful bit of wind.
Okay, now how's he going to look when he comes back?
So Tech 2 is going to cross him.
Yeah, Tech 2 will cross. There's the boats now. There's had to dump Tech 2, and you'll see just coming into picture in a moment will be Smeg. So three of the favourites, no doubt, looking close to the lead, although I think Balmain Slake and Fisher Paykel still in the lead. They're going out on port tack towards Shark Island. These boats are right pinned in to Bradley's Head.
Yeah.
As
Tech 2's done a good job there, though. They've cleared themselves of any of the traffic, including the dirty air of the ferry. So you might expect to see Tech 2 and Smeg gain from where their positions were 2 minutes ago.
They just need that left-hander to come off that headland.
Yeah, good bit of pressure right on the edge here.
And also making a bit of a go of it is Noakes. He missed the start badly, but he's just going to be just behind Smeg. So he's got good speed.
No, and his mainsail shape now looks pretty close, Pete. He's just about inverting in the puff that's here on this edge. Just have a look at the main, Pete. Just a nice little bubble, yeah?
Yeah.
Lovely.
It's a very deep sail, but he's got about 10 knots of breeze. Perfect sailing conditions, really.
So the rag has crossed Tech 2.
Okay, Harry Price and the rag.
And Tech 2, a little bit of inversion too. So in the middle of the stream, it looks like perhaps 11, 12 knots, Peter.
There's Noakes. Sean Langwich had a bad cut to his leg that suffered a few weeks ago, and he's been convalescing and didn't sail yesterday, but he's out here today with Ed Powys and Josh Probeski. And Balmain Slake, they're smoking down in the lead at the moment. You'll see them. There's Fisher Paykel. They're probably second or so. 11 knots here, 12 knots.
Yeah, so just getting towards the upper range for the big rig. And as we mentioned, some inversion on some of the boats. At Bavarian friends with Lazarus. And
Oaks are just going to have to duck them.
There's a duck.
so,
And Andrew, he
Yes.
came off Bradley's and went hard right
yep.
almost into Shark Island, and he looks reasonably strong. We'll see him in a moment, but there's Birkenhead Point Marina,
Well,
just behind the Burrawang Hotel.
there is plenty of water flowing out, Pete, is what I'll tell you, and the right side may have paid, and Tech 2's right away on the other side, and that will tell, but bit of ferry traffic as well.
Okay, well, there's the Black Swan from Western Australia. Rag and Famish just going behind him, and there's Andrew left of screen. But so they're the most right boats here. Rag and Famish will be the most right boat.
Yeah, and
Stern Point and Nielsen Park in the background.
plenty of bump in the water here, and I almost say that the Black Swan leads, Pete.
Tech 2, or on Tech 2, one of the favourites.
And
Jack
he's
McCartney.
pinging into the hard left on the left edge. A little bit
Right
less
in Taylor's
pressure.
Bay.
Yep. Interesting.
Yeah, it's no one's race at the moment. It's all's in the air, as they say. Not going back on anything great, the Rag and Famish. And I think, looking in Taylor Bay, that the Balmain Slate could still be in front.
Yep, he still leads.
He's coming out on port, and Rag and Black Swan going back on nothing great at all. Probably a header, if anything. Smeg's mid-fleet, Tech 2's mid-fleet, Andew's probably third or fourth.
Yep, the Slate leads from the Black Swan.
Yeah.
Well done, boys.
And then probably the Burrawang Hotel after them. Fisher Paykel, Birkenhead Point Marina. Yeah, but Balmain Slake in nice pressure, but we're on the Black Swan.
So, Pete, it's a bit interesting, isn't it? And just on left of screen, Tech 2 just had to duck Andrew, so not much change between those two boats, in fact.
Tech 2 went left, Andrew went right.
And we can see better pressure on the left here and left-handed air. So, as we talked about before the start, it's a bit of a puzzle, but the additional current on the right wasn't enough to overcome the left-hand breeze on the left edge.
Watching a fleet of Etchells, you can see a couple of them going upwind on port. They're very high on port.
Yep.
And breeze about 10 knots only, as Fisher Paykel tacks right in front of the Rag. And Andrew will come across and cross both these boats, but behind Black Swan, Rag's going to bail out of there.
Fisher and Paykel's very close.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's Andrew. She's gone from left to right to left again, Andrew.
Cross coming up with Tech 2 on Andrew.
See what happens here. And Tech 2 is across on starboard, had all the rights.
And had about a one boat length gain there, Pete. Oh, look at that. Which between those two boats is of some consequence, you know.
Yeah, and we'll look in a moment. We'll see Noakes, Sean Langman, Andrew tacks under him. He's rocketing along on the Noakes.
Yeah, he's found the D for drive lever, hasn't he?
He has for the moment, but well, there's been big splits. Some of the fleet are going hard left. Balmain Slake, who was left early and led, he's gone hard right almost into Nielsen Park. But at the moment, he looks pretty strong.
Well, Pete, the old rule would say the left will pay. Peter waving to the friendly powerboat that just
No such thing.
spray on our windscreen.
No such thing as a friendly powerboat.
All right.
Okay, well, there's Andrew just crossing behind the Black Swan with Luke Parkinson at the helm. They're doing a fine job.
They're doing a great job, aren't they?
Yeah, Noakes looks good. Not much breeze here, about 10 knots, maybe 11 in the spikes. But going in towards Clifton Gardens, Chowder Bay.
Yeah, Tech 2 must be not far off tacking. Sorry, viewers, we're just travelling.
Is Andu tacking?
Andu didn't want to stay with Noakes. Noakes still standing in.
They're going, there's Noakes, and then right into Clifton Gardens off screen is Tech 2. He'd be looking for that pressure and lift coming out, but got way out of the current when you'll see him in a moment. He's right into Clifton Gardens. Here he comes, 1, 2, 3, there he is. And he'll be behind Noakes. It's what's happened to the boats that have gone right. Balmain Slake's gone back for more, going right into the bottom and glass shore of this course. So it's a massive split. Some boats have worked the middle, some have gone right.
Well,
spend some time on the other guys.
the breeze has turned left up this top part of the course, Pete.
Okay, well there's Smeg. He's jumped away from Tech 2, and above him is Finport, Keegan York. He's done pretty well up the middle. So the fleet like both sides, Andrew, don't they? where do we go? Here's Smeg and Finport and Birkenhead Point, left of screen. They're doing a good job.
Well, and Smeg's jumped over Tech 2 pretty easily there, so more pressure down the middle of the creek a bit, Pete, I think. And if that theory's correct, then Noakes has gone hard left and probably given back a bit.
Yeah, well, Smeg's crossing Noakes quite comfortably. And there's a ferry going up the middle. Finport's close to the ferry. Oh, Finport had to tack there, and he's in no man's land. Lose the wind, lose everything for a moment. That's the Burrawang Hotel. Nicely positioned. It's all pretty close.
Slate still leads.
He does. Went left early, then hard right. Hammered the right-hand side halfway up this beat, and now he's back in the middle again. And he's Henry Larkin, Max Paul and Flynn Toomey. A fantastic job to lead this first heat of the 2022 Championship.
In their first year too, Pete.
And probably second is the Burrawang. He's hard left on George's head. And hard right is Yandu and the Black Swan.
Well, the Black Swan's been to both sides.
If anyone knows this harbour, it's John Winning and Yandu. You've sailed it 1,000 times, Andrew. He's probably done 2,000 times.
No, that's probably right, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's right in on Bottle and Glass. But anyway, we're on the Burrawang. He would be, of the group that's gone left, would be second. There's the group that's gone right. Yandu and Black Swan. That's Vaucluse Bay in the background. That's where John Winning learnt to sail. And he's been there or thereabouts all year, a new boat.
Now, Pete, is it true that your dad taught him?
Well, he probably had a little bit to do with it, but
Yeah.
I think John's dad was a pretty good sailor in his own right, the great late Choco Winning.
That's correct.
And now it's Tech 2, he's decided he likes the right. He's got it across there.
Well, it is distinctly lighter on the left edge, isn't it? Funneling wind to some degree, so... Let's see.
So, is Balmain Slake on the ley line? No, he's under it, I think. Even with the tide benefit, he'll be under it. So he's got 2 tacks it in. Burrawang is a close second. I think the boats that went right, like Yandu and Black Swan, have done okay. Certainly Yandu's come out of the pack a bit. Tech 2's gone further right than anyone now. But he'll concentrate on the leader.
So,
Balmain Slake.
the right edge up the top here, Pete's a bit of a current play, and there is a bit of funnel coming out of Watson's Bay, so... Might be sufficient.
And a clear harbour. There's nothing to windward of them, this fleet, only one cruising boat. So they're going to have a good track into the weather mark the first time. Beetle Boy.
So Jimmy,
Burrowang's bailed out.
Jimmy, we were lucky we didn't have to do the tactics today, I think, mate.
No.
I think he's in a high slow mode here, Balmain Slake, just hoping the tide can get him there. He's not far off this lay here.
No, he'll get there.
I think he'll get there, yeah.
High and slow.
Yep.
Current picking him up. Nice work.
Okay, great work. He will lead. He's around quite clearly in front. Around he goes. Hold your nerve, boys. Great job. Okay, here comes the cavalry, as we say.
Birkenhead, Burrowang.
Yep. Birkenhead, he snuck his way through. Tim Westwood, Alex Chittenden and Will Dargaville. They go round in third behind Burrowang.
Now,
which is
the peloton is arriving,
okay,
Peter.
Okay, then Noakes in fourth spot.
So
then Finport, Keegan
with
York. Now, Smeg in squeeze mode. Black Swan across the front of them. Smeg has done well. They're in the mix. Andu is next. Then Yandu, Tech 2 and Ilve all together. Tech 2, Yandu, Ilve.
Wow, incredible first beat.
Quick jibe on the Andu.
Yep, and that is probably well advised, given the amount of dirty air and so forth.
Yep, here come our friends from Germany, the Prince of Bavaria. At the helm, Honoric von Bayern. He is a Prince of Bavaria. Now the Rag and Famish is next. Fisher Paykel, off camera, Ilve's in all sorts of trouble. They've saved it.
And Tech 2 also driving out.
Okay, there's Tech 2 jiving out. Ilve almost went into windward as the Royal Oak, who missed the start badly, they're next. Still within touch, just. Okay, here comes Lazarus. They're back a bit. Marcus Ashley Jones. Then followed Shaw and Partners. That'll be Noakes Youth after them. There's Shaw and Partners round. Noakes Youth.
Noakes. And then Noakes Blue.
Noakes Blue. 18-footer. Bar and restaurant. Then the kitchen maker. Then our friends from Queensland. There's the 18-footer. 18-footers. Oh, what's he doing? Oh, he's doing a penalty turn. Almost penalty turn onto us. There's the kitchen maker round. Then the Queenslander next. And then after them will be the last boat, which is Appliances Online. So the race is on to Shark Island. Gonna get some good jibe angles going on down here, Andrew.
Tricky day, Pete. Tricky
downwind, tricky downwind. Yep, not much breeze, probably 10 knots at best. It's the Royal Oak, did very well yesterday, but as I said, missed the start today quite badly. There's Rag and Famish. There's Noakes and Black Swan, who went right in the bottom of glass, and ahead of them with the Orange Spinnakers, the leader, Balmain Slake. A tremendous effort by these boys, this young crew.
Pretty big gains to the guys that jived on the starboard though, Pete, I think.
It looks like Andu's done very well. They were the first to jibe. They'll be very close to the lead. They probably won't be in front, but
it's certainly up to second, I would suggest.
There's Noakes, the Black Swan. Balmain Slake still leads.
Okay, test for the young blokes. Can they figure out the jibe angle?
And they're off. Fleet are off Nielsen Park, approaching Steel Point. You can see how split up the fleet are. There's the Nielsen Park boy there, and there's the leader, Balmain Slake, and Andu has got himself into second position.
Just a little bit of cruising boat traffic, but nothing too bad. But
He's just off Steel Point now.
still has to be planned for.
And Balmain Slake has got to work out his jibe angles, as you said.
And Andu's surely about to jibe straight in front of the camera ship.
Yeah, he's going a little way yet. Just riding a little bit of a compression around Steel Point.
Just
He's
going to
not far off a jibe.
a bit of current relief, and then
Yeah, 1,
Here he
2,
goes.
3, there they go. On Andu. Yeah, highly polished jibe, but anyway, there's Burrawang. They were second at the first mark. Tech 2 starting to make some inroads. And above them with a white spinnaker is Noakes, Sean Langman. So we're at 2/3 the way down this spinnaker run to Shark Island.
you see the gain to Andu by jibing out early. It's significant. It's every bit of 40 seconds there.
Well,
Or
Tech 2 did that
30.
as well. So
Yeah,
they've
but-
got themselves back into the picture.
They're back into the race also, indeed. Indeed. So the young blokes have picked the jibe angle. Pretty good, I reckon.
Looks good.
Not taking no risk. They've figured out the keelboat traffic as well, and we're looking at them. They've just had to alter course a bit, but
So Andu going out to Balmain Slake's line. They're gone a bit further. Not much pressure. You can see the one crew in.
well,
It's going to look a bit
sort of-
lighter ahead too, doesn't it?
yeah, a little bit lifted off here on the eastern side.
And what happened to Andu, as you can see, went a lot further. Before they jibed, and now sort of they're rumbling up on Balmain Slake, who haven't got much pressure. Andu's 3 strings.
Well, Balmain Slake in the transition into the light area inside Rose Bay.
Andu really closing the gap here. They're well to leeward with much more pressure. See Andu, Shark Island ahead of them. Oh, they're just squeezing down to leeward here.
They're all in VMG mode now, Pete.
Yeah.
Even Andu, not full riding moment in use there.
Okay, Balmain Slake just got a little bit of a puff. Andu's run out of it a bit. And there's a conglomeration of yachts down here at Shark Island. Probably can't see them, or you can now. There's a red, white and blue spinnaker. There's a lot of historical veteran 18-footers, all in all sorts of tangles. Your old crewmate Donnie Buckley there.
On the mighty Aussie 4.
Okay, look at Balmain Slake going to leeward of that yacht. Now he's going to try and go above him, is he?
And he can't go to
No,
leeward.
he's really locked out.
He has to come up.
Unfortunately for him, Andu's...
Well, I don't know if there's a road through there for Andu either, Pete.
No, well, you can see the yacht has really...
He's
got Balmain Slake chicken winged up.
He's got plenty of stalled flow, the yacht.
Yeah, there's not much wind. Balmain Slake very light. So
He's got a little
jibe
tough
back
coming.
on star, but there's the mark.
Yeah.
You can just see the mark. That yellow mark is ahead of them.
So Andu now in extreme VMG mode, Pete.
Yes.
Bloke sitting, Matty Stender, I think, sitting in front of the mast.
Okay, Balmain Slake.
He's picked up a new puff.
Yeah, giving jibe in that. He'll be strong.
So he's completed the transition successfully, we would say. So Andu can now do whatever, but he's in not much pressure yet.
No, one crew in front of the mast, but anyway, there's a historical 18. You can see the difference between old and new. Okay, so Balmain Slake have got out of that okay. They didn't look strong there for a moment. 3rd place, the Birkenhead Point Marina. And Noakes has got himself still in 4th position. Okay, he's jibed. Balmain Slake has jibed. And here comes Andu, will be very close to him. Right of way on Balmain, but Andu will jibe inside of him.
Plenty of congestion. Still the keel boat acting as a bit of a barrier.
There's not much wind.
Yep.
Oh, collision just there between Noakes and Birkenhead Point and Noakes, sorry.
Oh, gee. Oh, dear. It's all over for Noakes here. And Birkenhead. Was Noakes on starboard then? I didn't, where it's off camera, I didn't see it. Smeg's white spinnaker. Here comes Rag and Famish in. Oh, Noakes, that's a shame for them. They're over. Tech 2's there. Not much wind here, but so the cavalry have caught up. There's the West Australians in the Black Swan. Smeg's wriggled his way clear. Good puff back at the mark here now. Finport's jibe. There's Noakes trying to get out with the spinnaker still up. Yandu jibing at the mark. The red spinnaker offshore and partners.
And Noakes have pulled that capsized boat up, Pete, with the spinnaker up.
Well, that's a very, very good effort.
That just takes a bit of anger, Peter, I think.
Yeah, there would have been plenty of anger. We heard a bit of yelling. Here comes our German friends on the Black Knight.
So they didn't get up the beat too well, did they, for some reason?
Noakes Youth with the blue spinnaker. Royal Oak is around above Fisher Paykel. Yeah, it's very squirrely here, isn't it? There's
one
or two puffs. And
it's tough in here.
Absolutely tough.
An untraditional nor'easter, we will call it.
It might be a VMG run, would it, to the next mark?
It is, Pete. Yep, absolutely. You'll not on screen, but Tech 2, for example, went all the way to the opposite side of the track down here, right down to the shore, and they have squirmed their way up to about 4th, I think. Fair bit of traffic in front of these guys too, the historic skiff fleet and a few keel boats.
Well, that's top left with a red spinnaker, that's Tech 2. Behind them, the Burrowang Hotel, and in front of them with the black spinnaker is the Birkenhead Point Marina. Purple spinnaker belongs to Rag and Famish. And it's still the Balmain Slate that leads. Breeze about 11 knots when they get out into the true wind.
Just going past the yacht with a pulled out jib on port, going straight into the into all the 18s coming down.
It's not that fresh for a pulled out jib, but anyway, much sailier as you can today, especially downwind. There's a couple of historical 18s trying to get their spinnakers set. That's the race leader, he's laying down to the mark. Or is he?
Yep.
Yes, he will. There's 2 marks down here. He'll go to the second one. The other one is another fleet mark. Mark right under Clark Island. They're just dropping their spinnaker now. Smeg and Birkenhead, 3rd and 4th respectively. And then, let's get on this.
And pressing their luck pretty hard.
Yeah.
Tidy enough on the Balmain, not slick, but tidy enough.
Well, they dropped early and make sure they were clean. So they hold a 2 boat length lead over Andu. So good job from Balmain. They led at the top mark and they lead at the leeward mark. Can they hang on to it?
Not the boat that you want breathing down your neck, though,
No,
is
it's
it?
not. It's not. 7-time champion. You'd think, wow. But I'm doing okay. Here comes the Birkenhead. Best race of the year for those boys. They'll be in 3rd spot. Tim Westwood at the helm. They're around. And then another couple of the fancy boats following them. Smeg.
2 of the red suspects, Peter.
Yes, Smeg will be next, and then Tech 2, and then the Rag and Famish.
Jesus.
Black Swan,
Black Swan coming aboard for an interview, in fact.
Noakes Blue and Finport. Where did Noakes Sailing end up out of all of that? Here comes Lazarus.
Noakes is here, Pete, just at the back of this group here with Yandu.
Yeah, they'll be next around. There's Noakes with it. Noakes and Yandu. Lazarus around. Ilve will be next. And then after that will be Noakes, who had that capsize but did a pretty good job to get out of it. Left the spinnaker up and dragged the boat out of the water. As Andrew said, probably a bit of anger got them up. But there's Ilve round. Yandu next. Then Noakes. And then the Royal Oak. What's the breeze here, Andrew? We're lucky to be 10, would it? Or a bit more.
Oh, over 10.
10
over
or 11,
10.
yeah.
Yeah, over 10.
Just a lot of traffic now upwind. So it's
Yep.
Noakes around.
So a big fight now up to the favoured left side of the track here.
Black Knight. So they go up to Beetle Boy and then back down to this mark. That's the next two legs. There's the Black Knight from Germany, not having their best day. We've seen them a bit close to the front in previous weeks.
Yeah, they like the east wind, not the north wind.
Yeah, yes. Fisher Pike on next. And there's a bit of action here with a vintage boat and a... Oh, there's plenty of action here.
Noakes Youth.
Appliances online around. Then Appliances online is going to go almost down, but inside Shaw and Partners, C-Tech. Noakes Youth got hammered by a classic 18-footer, historical 18-footer. That's them coming in from windward. Then the yellow spinnaker of the 18-footer bar and restaurant. And around in front of those goes the kitchen maker. And that's probably about the fleet, I think.
The only other one is the bloody Vikings.
Oh,
Pete,
yes, our friends from Denmark.
They've just jibed at Shark Island now.
Right, they're a long way back. Thank you, Jimmy. Yes.
They got a bit lost.
Yes, they were a bit wobbly off the start line, and, well, you can't be wobbly anywhere in this fleet. But we're off upwind for the second time. Spectator ferry there, we're fully loaded today, and I think it's going to be fully loaded all week, and they're seeing a pretty good race at the moment. All up for grabs, the first heat in a breeze of northeasterly direction of about 10 to 12 knots, and Balmain Slate led at the last mark, the Lewin mark, the first time, but hot on his hammer was Andu. Birkenhead and Smeg. Birkenhead tacking under Smeg. There's the two leaders, and you can see Andu stretched right out now. He's got a good 80-metre lead over the Balmain boys as they're going back into Taylor Bay, eastern side of Bradley's Head. And the breeze up a bit more even, Andrew, isn't it?
Yeah, perhaps 12 here, plenty of bump, and obviously plenty of river flowing out as well. And I think Tech 2 up to third, Peter, here.
Could well be. There's Tech 2 coming off the Bradley's Head point. There's Rag and Famish going in with the dark sails. There's Smeg and Birkenhead Point going behind Tech 2.
So Tech 2 put in a little clearing tack at the start of the beat, and that's paid big dividends. And they are now in striking distance of the podium, or they're on the podium, and they'd be optimistic about gobbling up Balmain up this beat, I would think.
Yeah, well, Balmain's now the meat and the sandwich between two pretty strong teams in Andu and Tech 2, but nonetheless, they've done a terrific job so far, and they look like maintaining a high position at this stage.
So, Jimmy, this is a bit extraordinary, isn't it?
It's a good breeze, sorry, Andrew, where Tech 2 is now.
Big puff right down the middle in the roughest water.
They're just tacked. There's Andu, top of screen.
Not a big gap.
Now, this will be a good test for Andu and Tech 2.
It's a drag race, mate.
Balmain Slake is still in it. Now, am I right in saying Balmain Slake was the Yandu of last year? Is that right, Jimmy?
Yeah, that's right, Pete.
So, not a bad setup.
Woody might be asking for that one back and give the new Yandu over.
Yeah, well, John Winning would have left it in good shape, there's no doubt about that.
Or Fang would have.
Fang would. Fang being Jasper Warren, the sheet hand on Yandu.
So, Pete, which way up the beat? I can't... It's a bit of a baffle, isn't it?
Well, it was last time. Everyone went everywhere. You couldn't put a finger on it. The breeze is up here, and the tide will tell you probably to go right or middle.
Yeah, right or middle, exactly. Yeah. But the breeze is telling you to go left.
Left, yeah.
Except where there isn't enough. I think that's the big issue. You've got to stay in the uprange pressure.
There looks more breeze in the middle of the harbour at the moment.
No, and that was what we had expected would occur, in fact, but not perhaps to the extent that it is occurring. Significant.
Less
and Tech 2 going back to the middle.
Tech 2, yes, he's in the middle with Smeg's going towards the middle, Birkenhead's going middle, Balmain Slake's in the middle, Andu's in the middle, so there you go.
So the consensus is let's go up the middle.
Let's go up the guts, as they say.
In the deep water.
Where it flows the fastest. Smeg and Birkenhead there just on screen.
Yeah.
Birkenhead Point Marina having a good day out so far.
Don't know whether we'll hear any more of that collision between Birkenhead and Noakes at the Giant Market Shark Island. There's a fair bit of yelling and screaming, and anyway, that may play out a bit later in the protest room. You never know, but anyway, we won't guess anything. We'll keep with the fleet on Balmain Slake. There's Andu just tacked. Go back more in the middle. Balmain have tacked. And the breeze, what, 12, 13, Andrew, perhaps?
Yep, perhaps 13 in effect with the tide. So near the top of the range for these guys.
And I think the Balmain boys, you'd have to say they're probably on the lighter side of crew weight.
Absolutely, absolutely. But they're hanging in, and their first beat was so good.
And their runs were pretty solid too, actually. I mean,
well, perhaps
Andu nearly got to them, but they Andu obviously closed the gap, but they still did a pretty good job. Let's have a look at the setup.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, the setup looks good, but they do just look a little bit short of riding moment, as you'd expect. They're probably down around 245 kilos, I think, whereas the mid-range for the cruise is about 260. So,
Andrew, just talk us through the height on the trapeze. They can adjust their height, can't they?
Yeah. And so these are modern youth, and they like trapezing low. The 49er coaches have them as low as they can go, so they're, you know, their hooks are below their wind level, in fact. Reduction in windage is evidently down very close to the water surface. Small windward heel, same reason. Bit less riding moment, but less windage and a bit cleaner aerodynamically.
So they're adjusting their height all the time?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, pretty. You've adjusted quite a fair bit.
Quite a fair bit. That's good enough, Jimmy.
Yeah, like it's... waves, gusts, everything. You're continually adjusting.
So the breeze softened a little now, Pete, I think.
Les Tech 2, they're still in third place. And 3 leaders now, all on starboard, up off Nielsen Park. This is the second of 3 beats. There's Jack McCartney on Tech 2, yet to win a Giltinan, but it's been close or thereabouts in recent years.
There's a distance, Pete, on screen between third and first at the moment.
Yeah, so that's probably a 40-second lead or thereabouts.
Watson's Bay in the background. the gap, the infamous gap.
So Tech 2 be looking forward to the VMG run, Pete.
Yeah, well, they're the three boats now, 1, 2 and 3. Andu, Balmain Slake and Tech 2. Bumpy the water, Andrew, a bit of powerboat wash, ferry wash, wind against tide.
Yep. A little bit better from the standpoint of keelboat and other boat interference, although a bit of activity down the back of Shark Island near the jibe mark. And the water pretty bumpy.
So what we're seeing behind these three is that Smeg has got himself into 4th place in front of Birkenhead Point.
But Smeg not fast enough to hang on to the leaders, Pete, you know, which is a serious issue.
He's going to run into some bumpy water here. Yep.
I think they're going all right. Bucko, I think Smeg's going. They've had to work their way through a lot of traffic to get to where they are.
Well, I'm just benchmarking against Tech 2 there, Jimmy, yeah? Tech 2 is behind them at the bottom and is now in front of them by an appreciable amount.
Zig and a zag.
Here comes a nice powerboat. Look at this bloke. Brains of a kumquat. Here he is. See if you can go really close to him, mate. Right to windward of him. Oh, terrific. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, you don't think at half a boat length is the appropriate
No, go a bit closer next time.
basing.
Dear, oh dear. There he is. Oh, look at that. Yeah,
Pete's
terrific.
powerboat reviews are back. By popular demand.
Well, there's another bloke. He's gone to at least sort of in front of him or somewhere. Don't get me started. Got 9 races to go.
So,
I'm only just winding up as we watch Smeg tank. But again, Tech 2's gone right into Clifton Gardens and Balmain Slake's going with him. So certainly out of the tide. They're looking for the left-hander.
well, but the furthest boat in is indeed Andu, and he's tacking
exactly,
now.
yeah.
So there won't be any gain or loss to those guys as a result of the tactical choice. So what we'll see there is the boat speed measurement in essence. Tech 2 just behind Balmain.
Well, the only difference will be that Smeg has not gone in there. She's gone out in the mid-tide,
Yep.
where she's got good breeze. She's off camera at the moment. She's a clear 4th, but we'll see if she can get a bit closer to these top 3. But anyway, Andu holds a very comfortable lead early on in this series. Tech 2 hammering hard at Balmain Slake, the early leader. She's getting closer and closer.
The boys on Balmain Slake, Pete, seem to just be each week getting better. You know, they're actually really locking in. I think they're slowly learning this boat, and you know, it's good to see the young guys coming through from. They're, I think, a product of the 29ers primarily.
There's Nielsen Park in the background. You can see Smeg coming across on starboard, just going on the screen there, and probably a little bit closer. But Andu's really stepping out now. He's fully beefed up with this nor'easter. It's probably one of the heavier crews, and he's really enjoying these conditions now. He's got the pedal down. We're watching Tech 2.
And a bit of mainsail flappage on all the boats. Smeg still on starboard. Andu just 2 more tacks to the top mark.
There he is. There's Camp Cove, the famous Camp Cove beach in the distance, as they're approaching the weather mark the second time, then the big run back down to Clark Island.
And almost full inversion at times on the Andu mainsail.
They look very comfortable. Great setup.
Yeah. But I think they are the heaviest crew in the fleet, so they've been enjoying the uprange temporarily. A bit of sea state here too, Pete. The nor'easterly swell bending round South Head. Good 1 metre sea state
Yeah,
here.
gee, it's a good swell, isn't there?
Yep.
Do you feel all right, Andrew?
Oh, not particularly. Never good the first day out, you know that.
Oh, there's a big wave, it isn't it? Big swell. It's quite a shallow part of Sydney Harbour where we're approaching the Beechel Buoy, and there is quite a significant swell rolling in and rolls through the heads, hits middle head, then bounces into the middle of the harbour, but won't affect these boys. Sevi Jarman, Sam Newton in the bow, Matt Stenter on the sheet.
Just shy of a metre, these swells, Pete. Just been watching the depth gauge.
Okay, well, that's significant.
Yeah, we're in like low tide, 5.2 metres of water where we are.
So here comes the Andu. Last little bit of work on starboard up to the Beecher buoy.
Oh, they've really, taken them extended. There'd be, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 1 minute, perhaps, Andrew, you think? I'll get you to be the official timekeeper.
Yeah, no, that's my job.
Within 1 or 2 seconds we want it. Precision we need. Accuracy. That's what we're all about here.
Copy.
Okay, Sevi having a look at the ley line. 1, 2, 3, and let's go. Nice, very solid. There's the visual buoy in the top of screen. There they are, just nearly there. 2 boat lengths, 1 boat length, and around they go. Okay,
So just looking down there, where Tech 2 tacked in the background now, there was not enough wind for 3 strings straight out of the tack.
yeah,
So it is a strange day, isn't it, Pete?
yep. So boats are going everywhere. There's no pattern to where they're going, that's for sure.
Oh, it's a game of find the wind as much as anything, but find the current and find the wind, and maybe those two are a bit lined up. So
Well, Andu's going to have a big lead here. Tech
Well-
2 will be second.
yeah, Tech 2's got the better of Balmain Slake, not by much, but so Tech 2 should be tacking 3, 2, 1 now. They're overstood.
Okay, there they go. They'll lead. Okay, well, Balmain Slake have done okay again.
Yeah, they've hung in really
Okay,
well.
here goes Tech 2, second.
55 seconds, Peter.
Okay, there you go. Balmain third, and then about 5 boat lengths back will be Smeg, still certainly within striking distance. And then next will be the boys on the Birkenhead Point Marina, as we watch Smeg just tack and go round. And what are they doing? Straight into it. Jibe.
Yeah. Andu's already jibed away. They jibed straight away.
Okay, well, Smeg jibe. Okay, Birkenhead Point have just tacked.
Everybody on starboard jibe. So there's consensus, Pete, that the left side pays up and down, and
Okay, Birkenhead's round in 5th position. They're jibing straight away as well. Oh, hang on to it, boys. They got up. Yep. Okay. Next will be Finport, Burrawang, Rag and Famish, Yandu.
and the breeze solid on this edge, Peter.
And then Noakes. Noakes has got himself back into it a little bit. Good breeze now, and then further back is the Royal Oak, Ilvay, Balmain Blue, Black Swan. Lazarus not having a good day. But we're on the battle for second and third and fourth here. Andu has skipped away to a very, very handy lead. They're about halfway down the run to Clark Island. There's the defending champion in Smeg, Michael Coxon. Right, approaching the western side of the harbour.
Fabulous.
Nielsen Park, one of Sydney Harbour's famous beaches in the background, but we're on the overhead shot. Tech 2 just got his nose ahead there of the Balmain boys.
Yeah. The Balmain boys mustn't be too slow downwind with their lighter weight. Probably up range though, being heavy pays. It's sort of mid-range, but who knows?
Interesting off camera, Andu's done a couple of jibes to stay in the middle and probably cover them off, not let them get out one side or the other. See Andu in a moment, popping out in front of Smeg. There he is, as Smeg jibes.
So we get a good measure on the downwind speed at the bottom of this run, Pete.
It's all about pressure here. The more pressure you got, the quicker you're going to go. As the Balmain boys jibe.
Yeah.
Tech 2 still on starboard. Running into a fleet of Etchells. In the jibe, I think, yes.
Yep. Tech 2 not liking what he saw there, less pressure. And they're going to copy them.
Yes. Nice covering job from in front. Making sure they don't get out one side of him, he's just staying down the middle. A lot of jibing going on behind. Smeg again jibing back. Balmain still running, just jibed actually on the starboard.
There we go, travelling with the leader.
Well, there he is now.
VMG run mode, not quite at full riding moment.
Sevi just having a look around, or Matt having a look around. There's Sevi having a look around.
Matt extended now, fully extended, so they're pretty delicate work here. Mate's all nicely deepened up.
VMG run, that means they're trying to get downwind as quick as they can.
Boom on the centre line, apparent wind about 90 degrees.
Yeah, work out going high and fast or low and slow, whichever's going to get you there the quickest. So they're about to...
They're going to
Balmain is
go back to the Bradley's head.
who's going to jibe.
Bradley's head compression.
Lovely jibe.
Great jibe.
Sam Newton straight out on the wire.
Yeah.
They just seem to be reacting to Tech 2 and Balmain behind, like when they're jibing, these guys
Yeah,
just
they're
wait for, but they're not
off.
rushing it. They're waiting for the puff to be the right one, and then they're just reacting to it.
Just covering off nicely.
They don't have to do much here, Jimmy, do they? They've got enough lead to win the race. So
Yeah.
Massive lead now.
So we'll see what it is at the bottom. It looks big, Pete, but it's still only a minute, I think.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. One little wobble and they could be in a bit of strife at the moment.
We've given blokes a bit of trouble by awarding a race a bit early, haven't we?
Well, you have. I've never have.
You never have, no, of course. Perfect Peter, I'll call you.
While we've got this lovely nor'easter on the harbour, we're just looking ahead, Andrew, at the next few days. Tomorrow it looks like a southerly of, what, about 15, 16 knots perhaps?
Second sail, okay.
Maybe a bit softer, yeah,
Yep.
15 to 17 knots, but then it gets tricky. Come Tuesday, we're looking at forecast at 2 p.m. is a 32 knot south-southwester.
Yeah,
So that'll keep
that's an ocean wind strength.
Might put the little rig on that day.
Yeah,
What do you
I
think?
think so.
Inside the harbour will be less, but
Still be fresh.
Yeah.
And then 27 knots on Wednesday, which will be tough because it's 2 races that day. So, wow, that's a day you don't want to make too many mistakes.
Yeah.
And then southerly still in on Thursday, about 23 knots. So very brisk midweek.
pretty windy mid-series. And, you know, by the end of those 3 days of racing, we'll probably know who the winner is, Pete, I'd say.
Yeah, well, I mean, short races, you know, one mistake and it's all over.
Tough conditions.
In a long race, you can have a bit of room to make up for any errors. As we're watching Andrew jibe, he's well above the lay line. Yeah, precision plus, great crew work. As we're watching Tech 2, second spot.
Looking back up the course, Pete Smeg seems to have chosen the Eastern Channel, with most of the other guys have chosen the Western Channel to come down.
They've done a split.
Well, I think the position for Smeg, Jimmy, is at night is that they don't think they'll be able to catch Tech 2 because they know Tech 2 is pretty quick downhill. And they've got enough cushion over the trailing pack behind them, I think, that they can roll the dice a bit to try and get up to third.
I guess presume that Sevi Jarvin's father, Steve Jarvin, or Mothballs as he's known, is watching somewhere in Aspen or wherever he's skiing these days.
G'day, Moth. Hope you're well.
Trying out for the next Winter Olympics, I believe, for Australia. So good luck, Mothy. That's in ice skating, not in skiing.
Curling, maybe.
Curling, yes. Anyway, if you're watching, Mothy, hope you're well, and your son's doing a pretty good job. Not a pretty good job, a very good job. But this is the leeward mark for the second time. They've got one more jibing in. Not far off the jibe.
Just been in had a little note come through from Phil Barnett, the cub, that Andu was spotted Wednesday morning training in that easterly gale. So I think they'll be ready for come Tuesday, Wednesday for that big pressure.
Okay, as they're scurrying in now to the leeward mark. Good lay line. Plenty of pressure. Very good lay line. Tech 2 not in. What's he doing? Just getting away of that cruise boat. Oh, Andu leaving this a bit late.
Coming in with plenty.
Yeah,
they'll be right, Pete.
Yeah, they'll be good crew. Always good.
Modern crew, mate. They can leave it late. Watch this.
Yeah, Spinnaker almost to bed.
Comfortable as you like.
2 on the Y. Perfect.
Yeah,
Perfect. And the breeze now probably 13, 14 looking upwind, Andrew.
Yeah, that's pretty optimum, that drop. Yeah, it looks like it, but it's not completely solid, is it? It's kind of down the middle a bit, and the blokes have paid pretty good respect to that, I think, in what they've done up the last speed.
Here's Tech 2 on the lay line, I think.
A skinny lay, but
Yeah,
okay,
fine lay.
probably. And he had to jibe because there's a large motor vessel impeding his pathway.
Yes, he's got a...
And that's cost him probably
Yes.
2 dives.
Perry Como's guests on board, I think, for the dancers for tonight.
Dancing girls tonight, is
I
it?
won't go
I don't
there.
think they're...
Okay, Tech 2, he's going to try and get down.
Yeah, which is pretty uncomfortable and not fast.
No, he's got to run square. Into
No,
the
but I
mark
think
there.
he'll be okay. Like he's...
Yeah. So, Pete, I'd register that as the boat speed of those two boats down the run is pretty identical, given what Tech 2 had to do just then. So, just a little over
So
just a minute.
Tech 2 jumped away from Balmain, and probably Smeg, by going down the eastern side, as Jimmy said, didn't make much impression, I don't think. He's still fourth. Birkenhead remains fifth. You'll see him come across with a black spinnaker. There he is, the Birkenhead. He got one jibing in, and the Rag and Famish has started to make his way through the fleet.
Yeah, he's the only boat that's made a significant progression in this lap, I will say.
Okay, here comes the Balmain boys
'Cause, I mean,
in third.
the
place.
Rag's been quite impressive because they were counting from the back at the first windward mark, weren't they?
Smeg next.
The Smeg's been held back by the Balmain. Pretty
Yes,
good job by the
yeah.
Balmain boys.
Well, this will be a good test upwind. What are there? 4 or 5 boat lengths behind them as Birkenhead still maintaining a good solid position.
And the breeze bent a little further left down the bottom of the track here, Pete.
And the other boat just coming across into screen is Noakes sailing. They've improved greatly.
Sorry, yep, we missed them. They were in more strife than early settlers at the jibe mark.
Well, they had a capsize and right of the boat with the spinnaker up, which is no mean effort. Now they're slowly working their way through this fleet. As we expected, they were reasonably strong in the lighter winds.
Gee, they look fast up the first beat at times.
A new boat,
Yeah.
only about 3 or 4 weeks in the water. As the Rag goes round, 6th spot, just on the tail of Birkenhead. We're watching Noakes now. And then Keegan York in the fin port and John Winning.
And the breeze has lifted off here at the bottom, Pete.
Yeah, there's not much here, is there?
That's all the way over to Bradley's looking at him.
Fin port, it's slow with the
breeze.
spinnaker. There comes Yandu on the Burrowang with the blue spinnaker. Oh, what's happening to the Yandu? There it goes.
Just heard the dulcet tones go up on the Yandu.
What, just saying hurry up, do you think?
Oh,
Just
yeah.
Mr. Winning providing advice for the young bowman.
Here comes the boat barreling in here. Who's this?
West
That is
Australia.
West Australia. And the Royal Oak.
So
Oh, it's Black
Black
Swan.
Swan,
Yep.
the West Australians.
the breeze re-exerting itself down the bottom,
Yes,
Pete. How
yeah.
about that?
Well, the Royal Oak have done a pretty reasonable job too of getting back into it. They were dead motherless at the start.
Yeah, but they're going to get 10th, Pete, which is not very useful, I'll tell you.
No. Long way to go, Andrew. Nine races.
No, you're dead right. But
Okay, there's the Black Swan. Got to get the spinnaker down, boys. They do, sort of. No, they don't.
I've got a knot in the halyard. It's not a good song.
Okay, Lazarus will be next, then Ilve. Here comes Marcus. Two of the more colourful skippers, you'd say. Jono Whitty on Ilve and Marcus Ashley Jones on the Lazarus.
Colourful racing identities, we'll call them.
Well, they always provide us with some colour.
That's right.
There goes Lazarus round, Ilve next. He's got to pull the sheet on, it'll be better. Oh, here's some more action. Queenslanders, the Germans.
Oh, they got
Okay, Queenslanders around and C-Tech.
the Germans don't mind pushing their luck, do
No,
they?
they get it done.
They got it done. Wow, that's a great
Sure,
effort.
partners.
Hey, 100 to 1 to get that, but they've sorted it.
Fisher
Well
Paykel
done.
will be next. Then Noakes Youth, then Noakes Blue.
There's the mark, better turn on the Fisher Paykel. They're today's race sponsor too, Pete, aren't they? The Fisher Paykel.
Fisher Paykel, are they? They're the race sponsors. Good on them. Another long time sponsor. Noakes Blue, Event Heritage coming in. She'll be next. The yellow spinnaker belongs to the 80-footer bar and restaurant. And then behind them is the Kitchen Maker. And I can't see our friends from Denmark. Where are they? Must be somewhere there. Oh, there's still a long way to go.
Denmark's up off Chowder Bay, Pete. Where you had that nice little lay down in the Love Wall on the vintage
yes,
boat.
okay, yeah. They're a long way back, and as is the Noakes Youth team, but they're still battling on, which is good to see. Okay, we're on the wind for the last time. Upwind of the Beechel Boy and Sound Pigs. Andu, convincing lead over Tech 2 and a Balmain Slake. Heat 1 of the 2022 JJs.
And the breeze back in the right, a little bit of low cloud, and breeze now streaming down the middle here at about 12 knots. Little tube of cloud aligned above the harbour. So, AOL probably been on the riding lever at some point by the look of that positioning.
Lance on line, still coming downwind. That's Smeg holding down fourth spot. Oh, Mae's got himself into third. He's clearly ahead of Balmain Slake now.
Clearly, Pete?
Yeah, absolutely clearly.
Those old eyes of yours are better than I thought.
Yeah,
Couple of boat lengths.
there he is. Smeg going out on port. Balmain on starboard. Just tacked. It's a nice gap now that Smeg's got over Balmain for third. Now, can Smeg make any inroads into Tech 2 as second? This will be interesting. Smeg going right into Shark Island.
Pretty good river over that side, Pete. Sort of refracts a little bit off the island there.
There's our friends from Denmark. The Bloody Vikings. That's the name of their boat. We're not swearing at them, but that's what they're.
Not insulting them.
What choppy here, this water, and there's some reasonably soft spots in this breeze, Andrew, at the moment.
Yep. Wow, Tech 2 just going into attack. Yeah.
Smeg still on, now going out into the middle of the harbour.
So a fair bit of fairly tame covering going on here. Tech 2 covering Smeg now. Andrew covering Tech 2.
And off screen, Andrew has gone right into Steel Point. Right in, which is really maximum flow around the point, but he's really rolled the dice. No, he hasn't rolled the dice, he's so far in front, you can afford to roll it, but wow, he's really got off script there.
Minimum tax peak, we'll call it.
Well, there he is.
Not a bad idea either.
Steel Point, and good breeze in the middle of the harbour. He's got good breeze there coming round Steel Point.
Yeah, pretty close to peak flow for this bit of the harbour, as you are aware.
Southern Point and Nielsen Park. Very, very strong lead. And good breeze now. It's probably 13, 14 knots. There's the battle for second. Tech 2 and Smeg. Clearly in favour of Tech 2. Really good breeze now as we watch Andrew mid-harbour. A lot of left in the breeze, Andrew, isn't it?
Yeah, so another little twist in the wind, and but the fleet's all kind of racked up, aren't they? So probably not much change net. And it looks like they've stretched out a bit though. And perhaps they're just enjoying this uprange condition, Peter.
Oh, you'd have to say they're really opened up here.
Yeah. Have a look at this,
Massively.
have a look at this, though, guys. They're into the strongest bit of wind we've seen all day now.
Yeah. And
Mainsail fully inverted if we can get a shot of the top of the rig.
Just leaning back and loving.
Whoa.
Wow, Muska, there we go.
Yeah.
There's plenty.
And
Think about a reef?
yeah, or a bit more jib twist, perhaps. Tricky though in these boats. Twist the jib, you've got to ease the sheet, and then the jib gets a little bit deeper in the foot. So it's a bit of a compromise.
Okay. Smeg will have some inversion, you'd think, in the mainsail in this strength of wind.
Definitely the boys on Balmain Slake will, that's for sure, Pete, the lighter boys.
Yeah. Tech 2 has lost a bit more there, indeed. Travelling up on port, but
This is going to be a massive lead to Andrew as we watch Tech 2 battling for second. Now there's the race leader going in once again into Clifton Gardens, Chowder Bay. Just about to tack. There they go. And tacking into some nice pressure, left-hand pressure.
and not too far off a ley line.
Time they get a bit of tide under their...
Yeah. Well,
they're a bit short, but
they're just covering. I mean, no big deal.
Watson's Bay Hotel in the background. Eastern Channel Pile Line and Camp Cove. Waters that Sevi Jarvan grew up on as well, sailing on. So he, like John Winning and a few others, really knows this part of the harbour.
He did his junior sailing, what, at Vaucluse 12 footers?
He did.
So as you'd expect, the rig looks pretty good, and the back of the bottom of the jib a little flatter than we've seen in the past, in fact.
Well, speaking to the big fella, he's more happier with the second rig than the big rig, but right there on the screen you got Balmain Slake just tacked. The Smeg boys trucking along.
they've opened up on him as someone you'd probably expect with a breeze up a bit. But anyway, the Balmain boys will be very, very happy and proud of their efforts so far. Still in 4th spot. And that's Noakes that are coming up very close to being across them. I think they are across
Balmain for sure.
Wow, that is a very, very good performance from Noakes.
They've got that boat wigged up, don't they?
Well, they certainly have from where they were. But anyway, all eyes are on this boat. I think probably everyone's favourite to take the title, but as we keep saying, they've got to get through 9 races. And some of it's going to be very brisk conditions. And Sevi certainly knows how to win this regatta more than any other boat. We're watching Noakes now approaching the Nielsen Park blinker.
So breeze got a bit wonky up here again, Pete. Back to the left where we are. Noakes on screen, standing on port.
He's going into bottom and glass at the moment.
Yeah.
You think they'd be wanting an extra lap, those boys, just to...
Yeah, they've certainly got this boat humming. Ed Powies and Josh Pomeski helping old Shauno as they tack.
So the breeze quite light and right up the top.
Yeah, that's the Rag and Famish to leeward. So they'll probably get themselves in about 6th spot. They'll be throwing the challenge down to the Balmain boys. But there's Noakes. Oh, Andrew saying hello to our J24. And not far off a ley line here. There they go.
Get the jockey pole up, I think.
Oh, well, they can afford to have a bit of overcook.
Yeah.
Very, very polished performance this. Put the hammer down here, an easy lay.
So Pete, what's your bet on the margin?
It'll be a fair bit, and it will be. Wow, I'm going for, I can't even see, check 2. I'm going for 2 minutes 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's going to be something like 2 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah, he's just nicely cracked sheets here.
Nice little overstood ley line, lovely.
Yeah, and good, as you said before, Andrew, best breeze of the day. Quite a big, still a big swell here near the Sound Pigs Reef, but all eyes on the race leader. Andrew, Sevi Jarvin, Sam Newton and Matt Stenner, away they go. To Shark Island and then to the finish. Spinning up, pops out. Not great pressure coming out of Watson's Bay, I think.
Yeah, I think you'll see them jiving reasonably soon, yeah.
Shortly, I would think, yes, there he goes. There's certainly more breeze midstream, and that's what they're doing. Another beautifully executed jibe. Clock is running. How long we got now, Andrew?
That's
1 minute. Yeah, he's there. There's Smeg. He's still in 3rd spot. Really hasn't made much of an impression on Tech 2.
Andrew intersecting with Reagan Family still on the beat. Good headed pressure, so left-handed air.
And I think Noakes has had a breakdown. I think something looks amiss with Noakes off screen. He's over near the Western Channel pylite. The sails are just flapping. I don't know what's happened there, but anyway, another bad luck for Noakes by the look of his Tech 2, about to round the weather mark. He's now, what's that, Andrew?
155, Peter. How's that?
Not accurate enough. I said 210. Anyway, he's around. It's a massive lead to Andu. And Noakes has got real problems over there on the Western Channel. He's flopping around. Sails are off. He's Tech 2.
Got some fundamental jib shooting problem by the look of that.
What a shame. He'd really put in a sterling effort to get back in touch with the place getters. It's Tech 2 second. Smeg will be third. About 40 seconds adrift of Tech 2, who's jibing. Wow, when you look in distance, massive distance downwind.
Yep.
Tech 2, Smeg around.
Well, I mean, peak 2 minutes is a quarter of the leg length,
Yes.
or leg time downwind.
There's
More or less.
Smeg is around, third spot, and then following them now in fourth, perhaps will be Rag and Famish, Balmain, Slake and Birkenhead, followed by Finport. So a bit of a change there. So bad news for Noakes, he's still not sailing. It's obviously massive problems there on that boat. But anyway, we're concentrating on the leading group, Smeg, jibing. And they're going down to Shark Island, round the Shark Island mark, and then to the finish. Now, there's Smeg, and then if we can get a shot of the race leader, we've got a shot of a ferry coming into play, but Andu will be across the ferry. The ferry's in the Eastern Channel, which is a little unusual. And there's a big cruise boat in Rose Bay as well, but Smeg running into Steel Point. It won't be far off a jibe. 2 more jibes and into the mark, you'd think. Just starting to get a bit light now. The ferry is no drama as they get ready to jibe. Can't be far off it.
Well, you've got to go far enough to get around the big white
Cruise boat.
There they go. I think they were just jibing then.
Great shot of the ferry.
Mighty fresh water.
Yeah. Okay, there's top of screen is Andu, and they've got a cruise boat that they will go to leeward of. Well to leeward of the cruise boat, no drama there. So they'll go out towards Shark Island, 1 more jibe and in. Some nice streaks of wind coming down. He's got a massive lead, we keep saying. So not far off in jibe here to go down the eastern side of Shark Island. There they go. Give you some idea of the distance. There's Tech 2, still way out in mid-harbour, not even down to Nielsen Park yet. Smeg still third.
Just negotiating there. That's the Eve, isn't it?
I think it is the Swan 65. You can see right in the distance the red spinnaker of Tech 2. As we're watching a great shot of Andu. Okay, there's Smeg and Tech 2. Tech 2 second, Smeg third. Smeg jibing. And Balmain Slate. You just got a glimpse of him with the orange spinnaker, about 5th spot, but there's the race leader. A few minutes from home and a few minutes from victory in the first heat. Putting his stamp on this championship very early on.
Very dominant stamp too, isn't it, Pete?
Massive. There's the following cavalry. Tech 2, Birkenhead, Rag and Famish, Balmain, and Smeg to the right, Tech 2, Smeg to the left, Tech 2 to the right, then Birkenhead. But we're back on the leader as he's just jibed. There's the Shark Island yellow boy. And what's this run look like, Andrew?
Enough north in the breeze that it's challenging, Pete. And quite a bit more pressure just the other side of the wind shadow of Shark.
Okay, well,
could be a bit bouncy at the Point Piper.
That's a great shot. Look at that. We're right with it, right in the cockpit. Top crew work, top speed, top result. Look at that, we're right in with them. Hang on to us, Sebby.
Good stuff. But 3 very skilled and experienced yachtsmen and make it look pretty easy, in fact.
Just getting a little bit of a waffle in the breeze, probably with a bit of the lee of the island.
So that's the wind shadow, and then wait for the puff, Peter.
And stick the bow up and
3.
Jimmy, give us a countdown.
Here you go. Set in 3.
Yep. 2. More yet to come.
Laying down to the finishing line. In the distance we can see the committee boat.
Here they go. Full noise. He's sailing pretty conservatively. Last time I said that something went wrong, but...
Yeah, you just be quiet from here till the finish on Andrew, all right?
Disconnect your microphone, Andrew.
Okay. Good stuff.
They got plenty on there.
They have got plenty on. There's a fleet of lasers they're going to come into, 2 out of the Double Bay Club and next to the 18-footer club. And
be a brave laser sailor that would call Windward Boat, Pete. Fantastic.
Great shot. Great.
You think this laser guy knows what's coming his way?
He will in a minute.
Oh!
Just had a look.
Pleasantly oblivious, I would say. Just
lovely. Best breeze of the day now. Probably 14, close to 15 knots here for this finish.
A little,
and they are at full wick.
A little late build.
Wow, look at this terrific shot. They're at full biff. What speed are they doing, Jimmy?
We're doing 21 knots and we're just rumbling away from them, so I'm guessing probably 17, 18.
Yeah, wonderful. Perfect trim. Great drone shot here. That is first class. Come on, get closer, get closer. Okay, well, here they come. 50 metres to go. First blood to Andu, Sammy Jarman, Matt Stender and Sam Newton. Fantastic performance. 1, 2, 3.
Yep, I got the horn. And then got the horn from the JBW.
Well, that's a wonderful, we keep saying it, but it is a very, very clear-cut victory.
Well, one lap, one leg of the course, so
almost,
the other guys have just jibed around the mark there at Shark Island.
It's
so
good breeze. Now look at this, Andrew, 15, 16 knots. But anyway, I think we can't express it enough what a performance this was from Andu. As I said earlier, he's probably put a clear mark down in the sand.
Very solid show.
That's the standard you've got to get to if you're going to win this championship. So 8 races to go, though.
might be leaving some scratch in their head. If that's what they got to try and work on overnight, right?
Yeah, potentially big sailing in tomorrow. May not be, but it could be.
Well, as I was alluding to earlier, the big fella that looks after the Andu or manages it for them, he's more happier with the little rig than the big rig.
Yeah.
So
no, they've made a definite advance in the configuration of that little rig.
Okay, well, anyway, tick 2. A solid performance. Certainly a second place is worthy in this fleet. Jack McCartney and at the helm, Charlie White and Lewis Brake have been up amongst the leaders all year, state champions. Another very polished crew. About 100 metres from the finish.
going over some waves.
Bang, 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 okay. Survived the oncoming waves. Now they've got to get through the waves and go in the same direction.
Famous last words. They've got it.
Oh, easy, easy.
Got the job done.
Okay, 2 boat lengths, 1 boat length, and they're there. Second and tech 2. So,
Smegs just had to knock their spinnaker off to get to
2 minutes and 10, Pete.
was it? Right, okay, so that's solid.
Solid. Smeg just going to cruise home here.
Yeah. Don't want to cruise for too long because Harry Price is barrelling down with the purple spinnaker on the rag, but I think Smeg are going to have enough in hand.
Yeah, and they can come hot angle towards the top of the line, no problem. So
Smeg will be third, Michael Coxon, and behind them will be Rag and Famish, who are also dropping the spinnaker. And the next 2 boats, best performance of the year from both of those, we'll concentrate on those at a moment as Smeg goes across in 3rd spot.
So that's 1 minute behind Tech 2.
So 3 minutes adrift of Andu. And here comes the Birkenhead barrelling in. His next boat will be Rag and Famish. They'll be 4th.
So good effort from those boys too.
Yep.
So Pete, they did win a race, if you recall, of the windy day of the state.
That's right,
title.
they did. Yep.
Yep. So,
There's the Rag.
but
4th.
that's still a good effort. That's a counter, a keeper.
Yep. And these next 2 crews will be absolutely thrilled with the performance. Balmain Slake, Henry Larkin, Max Paul, and Flint Toomey. They led for the first lap and have finished in a very, very creditable 5th. Well done. Very good effort. Well sailed. And then coming in 6th spot, another crew that have had their best effort of the year in the Birkenhead Point Marina, Tim Westwood, Alex Chittenden and Will Dargaville for 6th. Well done to them. Excellent. And then I'm sure they'll be very happy with that performance. And here comes the old fella, Yandu, John Winning.
Battling.
He's,
Had to get out the end of the wing.
he won't drop the spinnaker. Just pull that bloody thing on inside. Okay, here he comes, Yandu. Well, and then he's come through a bit. He was well buried early. The Burrawang will be next. Simon Nern, he's having a flip-flop there. He's nearly there to the line. He's going to flag it across the line. He's around in 8th spot. And then following him, there's Burrawang. At full noise is the Shaw and Partners. And then to round off the top 10 is Marcus Ashley Jones in Lazarus, Capital Partners. So he is 10th. 11th will be the white spinnaker will be the Royal Oak.
Yep.
Okay, Lazarus across.
The Ilve's broken the top of their rig.
Ilve has broken the top of the rig.
Still got the got the spinnaker up and just
Oh, fantastic action. Jono Whitty. Never a dull moment, but hang in there, boys, as the Royal Oak goes across in 11th. 12th, John O'Witty. Poor little bird has a broken wing. Cannot fly it, cannot sing.
Might as well shoot the bloody thing.
Yeah, as well shoot the bloody thing. Here he comes, John O.
That's embarrassing for the boats behind him.
Righto. Ilvay, 12th.
What do you reckon, Jimmy? Broken spreader or broken top stay?
Do you think Jono knows? He mightn't know yet.
Side state.
Okay, well, got to watch this. Who's 13th? There's Swan, then Finport,
Fisher Pike-Cow,
Fisher and Pykle.
then Black Knight,
Black Knight,
then Sea-Tech,
Black Knight, Sea-Tech. Finishing with a rush, 16th. So Sea-Tech 17th, the Black Knight 16th. So just finishing off there, Ilvay was 12th. The Black Swan 13. Black Swan, Finport 14. 15th Fisher and Pykle. 16th Black Knight. Sea-Tech 17. And then a fair go. Oh, no,
here comes Noakes Youth.
Noakes Youth struggling, boys. Don't lose it now.
Just looking back up the course, I can't even see Noakes anywhere up there.
No, he was really floundering when I last saw him.
No, he might have already got home, guys.
So Noakes Youth, that's one of their better performances, I think. Tom Cunnage, Finn Sprout and Harry Smith. They're across in 18th. A few more boats still to come in the distance. Kitchen Maker will probably be next home. Kitchen Maker right of screen. The yellow is the
18-footer bar and grill.
Astra.
Yeah.
And then the Vet Heritage in the Noakes Blue. But, the Kitchen Maker, he's got a long way to make this finishing line. Hang on to it, boys.
I think we might be seeing the biting of the dust here to some degree, girls and boys. Might be advantage of Vet here. Flag early, flag often.
Yeah, they've really got some good pressure.
These boats are going to go past the finishing line too.
Attack back, I think.
We're not careful.
Kitchen Maker.
Great stuff.
That's
Tommy
Lock
Clout,
and Steel.
on experienced hand in the middle of Yvette's boat. Going.
Oh, the Kitchen Maker's got a bit on behind our black sail mates of Germany. No, they're going to get up there, I think. They've dropped the spinnaker. Yvette's barreling in from Noakes Blue. Who's going to get it? I think the Kitchen Maker will. Yeah, Kitchen Maker.
Just.
I don't know.
Gee whiz, close.
Kitchen Maker, Noakes Blue, and then the 18-footer.
Good stuff.
Got some good, colourful language. So, Kitchen Maker 19th.
And
Noakes
clients
Blue.
online on the screen there.
Okay, he'll be 22nd.
Who are you missing off your score sheet, Shipper? You obviously Noakes and
Noakes and the
Vikings.
Vikings, the bloody Vikings. So I've got 22 finished, yes, so it's a 24 boat fleet. So
He's got the
maybe I'm missing.
bloody Vikings and Noakes.
So Pliance is online, we're on screen now. He's going to have a bit on trying to get up to this finishing line. He's on the western edge of Point Piper.
Better get the boat out and fend off the rock wall, I think, on the leeward side.
While we wait for him to finish, let's go back through the finishing list that we've got. It is provisional, of course. There could be protests or something happens between now and tomorrow. But anyway, Andu, clear and convincing winner by over 2 minutes to Tech 2, Smeg 3rd, Rag and Famish 4, Balmain Slake 5, Birkenhead Point Marina was 6th, Yandu 7th, Burrawang Hotel 8th, 9th Shore and Partners, Lazarus Capital Partners 10, 11th the Royal Oak, 12th Ilvay, finished with a broken mast, Black Swan 13, Finport 14, Fisher and Pykle 15, Black Knight 16, Seatex 17, Noakes Youth 18, Kitchen Maker 19, Noakes Blue 20, 21 18-footer bar and restaurant, and 22 yet to finish is the Appliances Online.
I just had a look up course, Pete, through the binoculars, just up near the Blinker Boys, the Bloody Vikings.
Yes,
No, and then Noakes is just coming around the jibe mark at Shark Island now.
With no spinnakers.
No spinnaker.
Right, okay.
So they've had some serious malfunction.
Absolutely, they were on fire, weren't they? They're coming
were,
back through, and then
They've got
that to
themselves up in
happen.
a fourth position. But anyway, we'll hear more about that this afternoon when we get to the park and let you know tomorrow what actually happened as we watch Appliances Online to come across the finish.
There's your homework.
So, Andrew, you've got to find out exactly what happened to Sean Langman and the boys in Noakes. Well, the first race is done and dusted. Terrific day sailing. It was a really, really good contest until Andrew decided to stretch his legs and really open out to a very convincing win. But we're back tomorrow to do it all again. I believe, Andrew, the forecast, quickly as southerly, is it? We're expected to come through tonight.
The prediction probably, somewhere mid-teens, south-southwest, which is a little unusual.
So a cut-off between first and second, do you think?
Yeah, at the cut-off.
Right, so the forecast is a 17 knots southerly, so that would be second rig if that plays out.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's all to do tomorrow.
Which would be good for Jono and the boys on Ilvays.
Yes.
with their folded in half.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks all. I hope you've enjoyed watching. We've enjoyed bringing it to you. So on behalf of all the team who brought these wonderful pictures to you, on behalf of Jimmy Bury, Andrew Buckland and the team, I'm Peter Shipway saying good afternoon from Sydney Harbour and look forward to your company this time tomorrow.